the whispering forest and the kind-hearted animals. In the heart of a vast emerald valley, there lay a tranquil place known as the Whispering Forest. Tall trees with leaves of every shade of green swayed gently in the soft breeze, their whispers carrying secrets from one end of the forest to the other. The sun cast a warm, golden glow through the branches, and delicate wildflowers peeked through the dewy grass, painting the forest floor with splashes of color. Among the inhabitants of this serene woodland was Oliver, a wise old owl with feathers as soft as moonlight. Perched high atop the tallest oak, he watched over the forest with keen amber eyes. One crisp morning, as the first rays of dawn brushed the sky, Oliver hooted softly, "Good morning, my friends!" His voice was deep and calming, resonating through the trees. Down below, Lily the clever fox stretched and yawned, her russet fur shimmering in the sunlight. "Good morning, Oliver," she called up cheerfully, her bright eyes twinkling. Nearby, Benny the brave little rabbit hopped out of his burrow, wiggling his nose in delight. "It's such a beautiful day," he exclaimed with an excited tone. As the forest awakened, animals of all shapes and sizes greeted the day with joy. Mia the melodic sparrow fluttered from branch to branch, singing a sweet song that filled the air with enchantment. "What a lovely tune," whispered Sammy the shy squirrel, his bushy tail flicking as he gathered acorns. But not all was well in the whispering forest. Word spread that a hunter had been seen at the forest's edge, setting traps and plotting to capture the woodland creatures. The animals gathered in a hidden clearing, concern etched on their faces. "We must do something," said Oliver solemnly. His wise gaze swept over the anxious crowd. "The hunter brings danger to our peaceful home." "But what can we do?" whimpered Benny, his ears drooping. "We're just small animals." Lily stepped forward with a determined glint in her eye. "We may be small," she said with a firm yet gentle tone, "but if we work together, we can outsmart him." The animals murmured among themselves. "Lily is right," chirped Mia, fluttering down to perch on a low branch. "Together, our voices are strong." Oliver nodded approvingly. "Indeed, each of us has a talent that can help. We must use our strengths wisely." As the sun began to set, painting the sky with hues of pink and lavender, the animals devised a plan. Lily, with her quick wit, would lead the operation. Benny, though small, was brave and knew the forest's secret paths. Mia could communicate with birds far and wide, and Oliver would keep watch from above. The next morning, the forest was cloaked in a gentle mist. The animals moved quietly, each playing their part. Benny ventured close to the hunter's camp, his heart pounding but his spirit unwavering. He nibbled on some tender grass as if unaware, his eyes darting around. From behind a bush, the hunter spotted Benny and grinned. "Well, look at that," he muttered with a sneer. "Easy catch." He crept forward, his footsteps heavy on the forest floor. Just as the hunter was about to spring his net, Sammy the squirrel dropped a flurry of acorns from the branches above. They clattered onto the hunter's hat and shoulders. "What in the world?" the hunter exclaimed, swatting at the cascade. That moment, Benny dashed away, disappearing into the underbrush. The hunter stumbled after him, frustration growing. Mia signaled from the treetops, and the birds began to chirp loudly, their voices creating a cacophony that echoed through the forest. "Curse these noisy creatures," the hunter growled, covering his ears. Distracted and disoriented, he didn't notice that Lily had sneaked behind him. With a swift motion, she tugged at a rope, and a cleverly constructed net fell over the hunter, entangling him. "Hey! What's this?" he shouted angrily, struggling against the bonds. His movements only tightened the net around him. Oliver swooped down silently, his wings barely stirring the air. "We mean you no harm," he said in a calm, measured voice. "But you must leave our forest and never return." The hunter looked up, bewildered by the talking owl. "An owl that speaks?" he stammered, fear creeping into his voice. "Yes," replied Oliver gently. And we all have a voice. This forest is our home, and we wish to live here in peace. Lily stepped forward, her gaze steady. Please understand that every creature here values life just as much as you do. The hunter's eyes softened as he looked around at the faces of the animals gathered. Benny peered out from behind a log, his little nose twitching with hope. Mia fluttered down to rest on a branch nearby, her melodic voice quiet now. I'm sorry, the hunter said with a sigh. I never thought about it that way. He sat down, the net loosening around him. I was only thinking of my own gain. Oliver tilted his head kindly. It's never too late to change, he said. Perhaps you can find a new path that doesn't bring harm to others. The hunter nodded slowly. You're right. I see that now. He stood up carefully, and Lily stepped forward to help untangle him from the net. Thank you, he said softly, genuine gratitude in his eyes. Benny hopped closer, his curiosity overcoming his fear. Will you really leave us alone? He asked in a small voice. Yes, little one, the hunter replied with a gentle smile. I promise. I'll find another way. With that, the hunter gathered his things and began to walk away. As he reached the edge of the forest, he turned back to look one last time. The sun broke through the clouds, casting a warm glow over the trees. He felt a newfound peace in his heart. Back in the clearing, the animals celebrated their success. We did it, cheered Benny, hopping around with joy. Yes, and without any harm, added Lily with a satisfied grin. Oliver looked around at his friends, his heart full. I'm proud of all of you, he said warmly. Today, we taught not just the hunter but ourselves the power of compassion and unity. Mia began to sing a light, joyful tune, and soon the entire forest was filled with music and laughter. Sammy did a little dance, his tail swishing merrily. As evening fell, the sky transformed into a tapestry of twinkling stars. The animals settled down, each finding their cozy spot to rest. The whispering forest was peaceful once more. Lily curled up under a leafy canopy, her eyes slowly closing. Good night, everyone, she whispered with a content smile. Good night, Lily, replied Benny softly, snuggling into his burrow. From his perch high above, Oliver gazed at the moonlit forest. Sleep well, dear friends, he hooted gently. Tomorrow is a new day filled with endless possibilities. The leaves rustled lightly as a gentle breeze swept through, carrying the soothing sounds of the forest into the night. The animals drifted off to sleep, their dreams filled with the wonder and joy of the day. And so the whispering forest remained a haven of harmony, where creatures great and small lived together in kindness and respect. The animals had not only protected their home but had also shared a valuable lesson about empathy and understanding. As the night enveloped the forest in its comforting embrace, a sense of calm settled over all. The stars shimmered above like tiny beacons of hope, and the moon cast a silvery glow that touched every leaf and blade of grass. In the quiet stillness, the forest seemed to whisper a lullaby, a song of unity and peace that would echo in the hearts of its inhabitants forevermore. The end.